What's up, everybody? I lost over $10,000 this month and made one mishire. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing everything that I did to make this mistake and everything that I'm doing to solve for that mistake. But if I had to summarize it in one phrase, it's that I was missing campaign SOPs. And so I'll be sharing everything that I'm doing on that regard. And so this is the very last slide of this presentation. But just as a quick heads up, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to scale our agency and maintain amazing results. And so if you've just started your agency or you're someone that's dealing with a similar issue where you're trying to scale, but anytime you scale, your results suffer, then this video is for you. And we're also going to be discussing a lot of different automations. And so if you check out afonto.com/automations, many of these automations are already going to be there. If they're not, simply send me a LinkedIn message or leave a comment, and I'm always happy to share the blueprints for that. Let's get into it. And so this is the $10,000 mistake. As you can see from the messages in the background, I had a conversation with an individual and then I sent them an email right after the call letting them know that, hey, here's a quick recap. If you would like to discuss anything else, simply book a call here. This was sent on March 4th, but they followed up with me on March 17th, letting me know that they had spoken with the team and that they were ready to go. Unfortunately, by that time, I had already onboarded 3 new clients and my capacity was full. And so I basically turned them down. They were ready to pay me, and we kept having some conversations within that period of time, but I was not going to budge, right? I felt overwhelmed. I couldn't take on new clients. And so I told them, let's stay in touch. And they followed up 1 month later, letting me know if I have capacity. But that's the $10,000 mistake. I kept turning down many clients because I just didn't have the capacity. And so, what we're trying to do here is ensure that we can scale, take on as many sales as possible. But in so doing, we're also able to maintain our quality. Now, what about the mishire? The mishire is that I onboarded 3 clients, I felt overwhelmed, I hired somebody. Now, I'm able to manage those 3 clients very easily because of all of the different systems that I've later on implemented. And so the mishire is that I shouldn't have hired the person to begin with. I should have had better forecasting, better data in place before making that decision. Anyways, moving on to the SOPs, right? The first thing we're trying to accomplish here is have a schedule of new campaigns. In my agency, I'm creating 1 new campaign per week per client. And using that framework, right, creating 1 new campaign, I'm going to have a whole bunch of different opportunities to test different things. Even if a campaign is doing amazingly well, we're still going to be creating new ones. And the idea is that 70% of all leads will go towards the best campaign, and then 30% of the other leads will go towards these other trial campaigns. Why this is relevant is because one of the clients that I had, we were doing an insane job, right? We were getting like 70 plus leads on a monthly basis, and these were all super awesome leads. However, I was running the same campaign, same targeting, same everything, and to start, I was using the best high intent leads, right? But obviously those high intent leads, they start to die down as time passes down, and so the lead quality starts to get worse over time. What happened? What happened is that my results went from 70 plus leads in a month all the way down to like 10, 20 leads, right? Same copy, same targeting, same everything. They just went down, right? And there's many reasons. You can say it's deliverability, you could say it's a lot of other things, but what I ended up doing to fix that is I tried different copy, different campaigns, different angles, different things, and those ended up performing well. At least better than the ones that I was doing before. And so throughout that experience, I've learned that um, you don't want to rely everything in just one campaign. Even if it's doing well, there's going to come a time where it doesn't. And so this SOP is ensuring that we always have a winning campaign on the back burner. And so we start with 70 leads, 70% going to the best, 30%, a few winners in there. And if something goes wrong with the 70%, we scale one of the other winners inside the 30%. And another thing I'm doing is making sure that I always have at least 5 days worth of leads to contact within my campaigns to ensure that I'm 1 week ahead. And so my weekly schedule is simplified now. So now on the weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, that's when I'm doing my list building, campaign building, all of that other stuff, right? And so what this allows me to do is ensure that throughout the week, I'm not creating campaigns, I'm not building lists, I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just focused on everything else within the business, you know? But within the weekend, that's when I'm doing the list building. And so having 5 days allows that flexibility. And so this is just a quick image of what it looks like as a sample. So the rows at the top, that is sample data, right? So we add 4,000 leads to the very first campaign in the very first week, and then on the second week we add another 4,000 in a different campaign. And then week 3, the warm-ups are done, and now we're starting to actually do like some sending with the client. And if you notice, I'm reducing the amount of leads per campaign until eventually it's 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. And so on a weekly basis, all I need to do is create one campaign with 1,000 leads that has 5 days worth of sending, which is going to mean 200 emails per day. And then by the end of the week, I'm going to review how that campaign performed, and if it performed well, we're going to scale that specific campaign. And so if you look on the section below, it's the same type of idea, week 1, week 2, all the way up until week 6. But you'll notice that it's not quite symmetrical as it once was. We started with 4,000 in campaign 1, added another 500 leads, but this time around, we added it to the second campaign. And we also we stopped sending emails in campaign 1 because after the first week of sending we realized that it was doing a horrible job. We don't want to scale that campaign, and so instead, as you can see in the first image, it was 1,000 in week 3 for campaign 2. This time around it's 2,000. We kept running this campaign until eventually we realized that campaign 3 is actually where the money is at, and that's what we're scaling now. But remember, we're still creating new campaigns. And so campaign 5 seems to be going well. We're going to keep going with that. We've also just created campaign 6. And we just keep doing this over and over and over. We build a database of knowledge, but we also have a safety net to know that we're always going to deliver good results for our clients. And so the next one here is allowing us to automatically track lead types based on positive replies. And so inside Smartlead, whenever a lead category is updated, we're going to be adding those leads to ClickUp. And obviously, if you use Notion, Airtable, or any of these project management tools, you're able to also add the leads there. From there, we're going to be auto enriching all of these contacts to figure out key information across all of these individuals. And so, for example, we're trying to find the departments, the job titles, their company, industries, keywords, and anything that we feel like is going to help us identify commonalities that we can then use to find similar types of leads. And so this is what it looks like, for example, inside my ClickUp account. We've got these leads here, and we've got custom fields for those leads. Right, I'm not showing everything just because it's gonna be too cluttered. But at the top here, we've also got my different campaigns, and we're able to see the different campaigns, which types of departments we're going after. And so usually I like to go for C-suites in my agency within the marketing and the sales department, but we're able to see that across all of the people that we've contacted, we've targeted more C-suites in the very first campaign and less C-suites in the later on campaigns. But when we look at the other columns in this table, we're also able to find out that in Afonto 3, I actually targeted bigger companies, so like 100, 200 employee companies, while in the very first campaign, Afonto 1, I was actually targeting smaller employee companies. And so using all of this different data, we're able to get informed as where all of our positive replies are coming from so that we can build better, more consistent lead lists. And like I said, we add the analytics to ClickUp, Airtable, anything that we want to do, and then create internal reports using all of that data. And those reports could be like a message to you, or it could simply be you look at the data and then you make an informed decision on your follow up lead list building efforts. And so the next one that we've got here is automatically forecasting the sending capacity on a campaign by campaign basis or on a client by client basis. And when looking at my ClickUp dashboard, this is what it sort of looks like. We've got the different clients as one column here, and then we have a timeline view that tells us when the sending capacity is due to end. And so the formula is super simple. We've got 5,000 leads inside the campaign that are not started. We're supposed to be sending 1,000 emails per day. That means we've got 5 days of sending capacity left. And all we do is simply modify the end dates to reflect that fact. And when looking at this campaign here in the middle, we're able to see that that campaign stopped having enough leads to contact on a Friday. However, the other three campaigns still have people that they're able to contact. And I've blurred out the campaign, the clients and the campaign names, but this is what it normally looks like on my end. I've got my clients, I've got the campaign name, the number of prospects, the percentage of like the quality of the campaign, and I'm seeing how many leads we're contacting on that. And so another way to do it is something like this, which is a Slack notification. You can do it similarly on a campaign by campaign basis or on a client by client basis. And whenever leads are below 500, we get notified for that. And by the way, if you check out afonto.com/automations, this one is there to download for free. And so using all of this information, we're able to stay on top of our campaigns. And if you recall at one of the previous sections throughout this video, I mentioned that I want to always have at least 5 days worth of sending capacity for every single client. This is going to allow me to sleep easy, and it's going to allow me to not have to constantly stress about building lists, figuring out campaigns, because I know I've got a full week left and I've got sending capacity to take care of that. And how I do that, by the way, is using ClickUp tasks. And so on a weekend, I'm going to get a task to build lists. It's going to send all of the information for every other SOP that we've discussed, like the tracking leads by positive reply. It's going to tell me like, this is the lead list we need to build based on the positive replies, etc. And then we're building the list using that task. The last thing that I've included inside my SOP is automatically storing the best performing emails. And so whenever a campaign's stats go over 1%, we're going to be sending the information of that campaign to ClickUp. And what this is going to include is the subject lines, email bodies, the list building efforts such as the Apollo links, the Clay tables, and really every single thing that it took to make that campaign work. We're going to be backtracking all of that and creating different templates that we can then reference in the future to replicate success. And this is what it looks like as a quick snippet. We've got the sequences from the Smartlead API, but we've also got a different column for the Apollo lead list, another table for the Clay tables, and all of that other stuff. And so, like I said, what all of this is going to allow us to do is repeat successful actions and ensure that we can scale and maintain results as we scale. And so, hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, any feedback, please let me know, and I look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.